Okay, well, happy Tuesday morning to you all. It's November the 16th, and I'm headed out for a work commute on the little Super Cub again. I haven't had it out very much since my return from the Cannonball Run. No real particular reason other than it needed a bunch of semi-major maintenance after that trip. Needed to do what was it, the oil spinner clean out, valve maintenance, oil change, of course. I still haven't put my O-ring chain on there or my rear tire. I need to do that. Probably got another, I don't know, maybe 1,000 miles on this rear tire if I'm lucky. But yeah, anyway, the little Cub is ready for road duty. I think I did my follow-up thoughts on the Cannonball Run. I know that I did my the live kind of the post-mortem of things that worked and didn't, and the very few very minor failures that we had, but you know, the bikes and the trailers did perfectly. We didn't have any failures on those, no mechanical issues. Tires were kind of a sore spot for us because we were burning through those really fast, and you know, just a couple of little minor problems, but nothing major at all. And the little Cub is ready for another 10,000 miles of abuse. Whoa, he's got a load of heavy stuff. I don't think I want to be behind him, considering that stuff is not secured. It doesn't have it netted or anything. Either need to be really far behind him or ahead of him. I'm going to go for ahead of him. One good bump and some of those logs could come bouncing out on the road right in front of me. You know, thanks. Feels good to get out on this little thing again. I haven't ridden it much. I think I've maybe done, I don't know, 100 miles on it since I returned from the Cannonball back at the end of July. So it hasn't seen any road miles in quite a while. It's time to get it out and enjoy it again. Adrian came over last week and we did the maintenance on them and cleaned them up, went through kind of what we still need to do, and you know, the short list of mechanical things that we need to cover. Both of us are due for rear tires, so need to get that done. I've got an O-ring chain to put on mine. He might upgrade his O-ring chain, but we've got a couple of spare factory chains still sitting in the original bags. So we could always do that. They're cheap, you know, $10.83 or whatever it was. It was pretty ridiculously inexpensive. We got to put sprockets on here if I'm changing the chain, because you know, 15,000 miles in, don't like putting new chains on old sprockets or vice versa. Yeah, so anyway, I was watching a few videos this morning. Mike Thompson with Riding in the Ozarks put out one from his private channel. He's got his main channel, Riding in the Ozarks, and then he started his own private feed, which is, you know, kind of not necessarily bike related or related to the other stuff that he's doing. It's just kind of, you know, him and personal life and opinions and things like that, and I like that. I might do the same just to keep everybody, I don't know if you can say happy or not, because that's kind of the topic of the video that he put out this morning, and I've broached that topic on my channel a few times, is haters and nasty commenters on YouTube. It gets old, man. It's such a drain mentally to deal with those people, because I think Mike is kind of in the same boat as I am. I do this because I enjoy it, and I like to share the experience of riding in whatever I'm doing. You know, it's the moto life, moto lifestyle, whatever you want to call it. And it's the pros and the cons, the ups and downs, the things that work, the things that don't, and it's sharing that with other people. It might save them some time or money or headaches or whatever, and if my trials and tribulations can help somebody else, hey, great. That's, you know, that's what the community is all about. Just, you know, get out there and ride, do it. Don't armchair quarterback it and piss and moan about what somebody else is doing. Get out and do it yourself. And that's kind of going back to the theme. Mike was saying, you know, how do you deal with nasty YouTube commenters and stuff like that? And he's got kind of the same approach that I do. I try to be diplomatic about it at first. I triage the bad comments in one of two ways. First, I try not to react to it if it's incendiary or, you know, just overall shitty, you know, in the tone. But it could just be, you know, that they're coming off wrong. You know, everybody knows that emails and texts don't carry emotion unless you're intending them to, and they can sometimes come with unintended overtones, you know, being sarcastic or being an a-hole, whatever. So I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt when they're leaving nasty comments. Maybe they don't like the bike, you know, they're hating on the bike or something like that. Usually in those cases I leave it up. You know, I'm not averse to other opinions. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and, you know, whatever. But if they're obviously coming after me, you know, outright insults toward me or whatever, I delete them and ban them. I don't care. There's no sense in interacting with those kind of people. But the way I triage those is, if it's, you know, hating on the bike or something that just seems maybe they're not informed, I treat it as ignorance, and not ignorance in a bad way. They're ignorant on the topic. They don't have enough information to make a valid opinion. And really that's what most of those are, is their opinions. Everybody's got an opinion. Doesn't mean they've got experience or any authoritative information on the topic. Most people will look at other reviews on bikes or products or whatever it is, and they come up with these opinions in their head based on what everybody else has said, but they've never experienced it personally. So they've not purchased it for themselves, they've not used it, they've not ridden it, whatever it is. And, you know, I've kind of mentioned that on this topic, you know, in this stretch of road a few times. There's lots of opinionated people out there. It doesn't mean they know what they're talking about. And the stuff that I try to share on the channel, you know, with the bikes or the rides or the products or whatever, it's stuff that I've bought. I use it, and, you know, I've either ridden it, used it, owned it, something. So at least I'm somewhat informed on the opinions and the statements that I'm putting out there. I'm no expert on anything, but, you know, if I've got some time on the seat with something, then that gives me a little bit more of a valid stance or a valid viewpoint, perspective, than somebody that's never even sat down on one. So yeah, Mike, I totally agree with you on the, you know, how to triage those things. Yeah, give them the benefit of the doubt. If they, you know, if it's uninformed ignorance, then, you know, give them a few facts and, you know, try to be diplomatic about it. And I've actually won over quite a few, I wouldn't call them arguments, I've won over quite a few viewers that way, where they started out just, you know, really nasty, hating on the Cub or hating on one of the bikes or whatever. The Riker in particular, that's happened a couple times. They're like, geez, I think such a piece of junk, you know, it's ugly, it's inconvenient, it's blah, it's this, it's blah, it's that. And I agree on all those points. And I'll say, yeah, but you've got to ride one to understand what they're about. And, you know, after 2 or 3 comments, they come around and they go, yeah, I totally get it. So it's rewarding to have those conversations with people, because it is a difference of opinion. And as long as you can work it out diplomatically, you know, you're entitled to your opinion, I'm entitled to mine, or even if you can educate somebody on a topic that they maybe had a false expectation or false opinion of something, then that's great, you know, job well done. But yeah, the haters, the outright dickheads out there that they're just there to shit on everything and fly away, you know, seagull management kind of stuff. I got that from Rolling on 3. He and I were in a private conference one night on Zoom, and we were talking about haters, and he came up with that, or I guess it's a common saying, I just never heard it, seagull management, you know, where you got bosses that just come in, make a lot of noise, shit all over everything, and leave. Dude's just sleeping there. Anyway, yeah, I don't even interact with those people. I'll just delete it outright. Any response you give them generally is just ammunition or fuel on the fire, and it's just not worth it. It really isn't worth it, because they're not going to come around. If they come right out of the gate insulting you or hating or leaving really nasty comments, then chances are they're just looking for a fight, and you're not going to sway their opinions. And they're not adding anything to the conversation. They're not adding anything to the community. They're not giving anything back. All they're doing is tearing down. They're just out to do evil. You know, there's just no lack of definition there. Something that's self-serving toward the destruction of another, that's just evil. So, delete. Man, the wind is blowing today. You can see these flags ripping. I'm fighting about a good 18 to 20 mile an hour headwind here. Yeah, so Adrian and I had tentatively thought about getting out on the road this week, but his schedule is too tight, and really I've got too much work lined up. I can't shelf it. I could, but it's not productive. You know, if I push off a couple of these projects right now, it's going to break momentum and just end up being a problem. So try not to break the rhythm, lose the momentum if I can avoid it, especially right around the holidays here, because it's money. Woohoo, the wind is blowing. Get in behind this guy and use him as a windbreak. And I forgot to mention, I'm back to the factory exhaust on here. I took off that SP Takegawa pea shooter. I don't like that thing. I never did. I only put it on there because I needed to haul the trailer for the cannonball. And I'm back to better power now. Mid-range power is back, and top-end power feels like it's better than it was. So the SP Takegawa definitely made this bike run lean. That was kind of evidenced by the heat damage on that can. It's just not a good exhaust unless you're going to rejet, or not rejet, but reflash, you know, and adjust your air fuel ratio. So I'm not a fan of that SP Takegawa. I boxed it up this morning with Adrian's original exhaust, his OEM exhaust for the Cub, and we're going to send those out to Kaufman's in California and have them make us up some prototypes. I talked with Wyatt Kaufman when I was there back in the end of July about maybe coming up with a shorty for this, and he's like, yeah, well, we just need the bike with the original exhaust and we'll work on it. So cool, that's what I'm gonna do. Send it to him. I don't care when I get it back, you know, don't need it. Adrian doesn't need his exhaust because he's going to leave the pea shooter on there for a while so he can pull that trailer. I'm not pulling the trailer with this one right now, so I don't need the clearance. So the factory exhaust is back on. Sounds better, runs better, except into this 20 mile an hour headwind here. Having trouble braking 45. Tuck in a little bit. Oh, speaking of speed, the gauges that I normally put on these videos for the Cub, or that I used to put on there, I stopped putting them on because when I record in 4K, the GoPro Quick application just does not like adding the gauges and extracting and, you know, re-encoding 4K video. Just doesn't like it. Crashes, does all kinds of dumb stuff. So I bought a new software package. Forgive me, I forget the name, but I'll throw it up here. It's the GoPro gauge overlays, and it's from a group in Barcelona, Spain, if I remember correctly. But they've got a bunch of different data extraction tools that work really well to pull gauges out, and you can reformat the display for whatever you want. And it does gauge amplification, where it can do normalizing of data where GPS signal drops out and things like that. So it's a really interesting suite of tools. It wasn't cheap. It was like $300. So I haven't gotten real deep into that yet, and that's another reason why I paused on my Cannonball Run videos, because right where I paused is where we're getting into some of the hills and the mountains and stuff like that in the northeast, headed up toward Maine, and I was wanting to show ascent rates, you know, kind of topology of the road that we're riding on. because the camera flattens stuff out. You can't appreciate grades and inclines and things like that at all on video. You got to have like a really steep hill and then a really big drop to see, you know, horizon or something like that. But you don't get a feel for the grade of the road. So with this new gauge overlay pack, I'll be able to kind of arrange that a little bit better. And the biggest thing that it does is it allows you to string multiple videos together and maintain consistent gauge data. The GoPro Quick software resets at every clip. So, you know, recording in 4K, for example, I think it's 8.5 or 9 minute video per chunk. Might be 11 minutes, I can't remember. Anyway, at every chunk it gets reset, so you don't get overall distances, and you know, totals are skewed because it resets every few minutes. So anyway, this new gauge pack will keep continuous track of everything and let you track an entire trip. So I could use a little clip from the beginning and the middle and the end across a whole day, and it would show my cumulative miles. So if we've traveled 450 miles or 500 miles that day, the gauges are going to stay consistent across that, so that'll be cool. I haven't had time lately to reply to a lot of comments on YouTube. I saw I've got, you know, 40 or 50 that I need to go through and reply to. I've been trying to leave thumbs up on nice comments, but I haven't replied back. So I apologize if you've sent something to me and it seems like I'm ignoring you. I don't mean to. I've just been really busy with work and trying to find time to sleep somewhere in there. And my house has been sick lately. My youngest daughter, my 4-year-old, got some kind of a throat sinus bug, whatever, and then my wife got it, and now she's passed it to me. Starting yesterday, I started getting a little bit of a sore throat, and then last night, all night, I was having trouble sleeping because the throat was bothering me. Today it seems to be okay, so I don't know, maybe I kicked it, or maybe it's just lying dormant, ready to kick my ass tomorrow, who knows. I always seem to get some kind of a sinus bug around this time every year. It's usually allergies that get me. It doesn't last long. I'll have it for 3 or 4 days and then I'm good. I'm actually behind schedule for it because usually it happens to me right around my birthday. First week or two of November is when I catch something. So I'm usually kind of sick for my birthday on the 12th, and that's already passed. So when Adrian and I did the oil spinner cleanouts on these things, pardon me while I scratch my itchy nose, it was really not as big a deal as I thought it was. I was under the impression that you had to pull the entire clutch assembly off. I'll share some pictures here. But no, it's just you have to drop the side cover off, which is really easy. I mean, you have to drop the foot pegs to get the side cover off. You do not have to pull the shift yoke. I don't know why the manual says you got to do that. The shift lever over here, it doesn't have to come off. It's not even involved. So anyway, you pop that side cover off, and then there are just 3 screws, you know, little hex head screw bolts, whatever you want to call them, that hold on the little triangle plate. And right behind that triangle plate, that is the extent of the centrifugal spinner. It's not that whole clutch assembly. I was thinking I had to pull the clutch assembly out of this thing, which would have sucked. But you do need a fresh gasket. I don't think there's any way you could reuse that original gasket because it's kind of it almost seems like a plasticized paper. It's a weird construction. It's not quite rubber. It's not quite plastic. I don't know what it is. It's really stiff, and when you pull it off of there, it gets deformed and mangulated, so I wouldn't try to reuse that. And then our side cover gasket got torn on the bottom in the exact same place on both bikes, so reusing the side cover gasket is probably not going to work either. But yeah, the whole process didn't take very long. It was pretty straightforward. Filled it back up with oil after we cleaned out the oil spinner screen and all that, and got to see a good look at how the gold plug fits in there right underneath that screen. And I guess I need to look at the flow diagram on the motor to understand the flow direction, but it looks like that magnet is right square in the flow of the oil, so it does a good job at picking stuff up. And the little centrifugal spinner doesn't do diddly for the rest of your oil supply, ladies and gentlemen. All it does is catch clutch material. That's it. So the oil supply in this thing is not filtered in any way, shape, or form, except for, you know, large metallic fragments that would get caught by that the screen, possibly. So definitely I would invest in a magnetic drain plug. They're cheap insurance, man. 20 bucks, 22 bucks, whatever. Keep that abrasive sludge out of your oil. Ooh, the wind's blowing today. I had to check the forecast, make sure it wasn't going to rain, because this is feels like kind of the precursor to a front blowing in, but there's no forecasted rain. I've been riding with my new Shoei Neotec 2 lately. I haven't been doing very many vlogs. I haven't transferred my camera and microphone setup over to the Shoei yet, so I've gotten used to the fit of that helmet, and I really like the fit of it, but I gotta say, it seems to be noisier than my Schuberth C3 Pro. Like today I'm riding without earplugs in, just so I can kind of hear the difference in wind noise, and they're pretty close, but I'll definitely give the edge to the C3 on being quieter. And one big difference is the Shoei has a very high-pitched whine or squeal to it, and it's not the visor being locked in, because I've, you know, make sure that I click the visor all the way down. It just has a kind of a high-pitched whistle to it in a lot of circumstances, when you turn your head a little bit sideways, or when the wind is hitting you just right. And it's kind of annoying, a little bit disappointing for a $800 and something helmet. That helmet actually costs more than this one did several years ago. So I don't know, I'm still on the hunt for a better, quieter modular helmet. I was going to get the C4 Schuberth, but I don't really like the fit of it. It seems like it pinches my forehead even more than this one did. I had to get a really large shell on this one, the extra large, so it would fit my noggin. And then I adjusted the crown liner sizes and all that to fit me a little better. So I got the extra large shell, but the large liner, so it would take up space a little bit better. And I got I guess it was the large cheek pads to squeeze it in a little bit, so it would fit my oblong shaped melon. The Shoei fits me perfectly as far as the head shape, but just not real pleased about the noise. I guess the proof in the pudding will be when I transfer over the camera and the microphone to it, and I get some more direct sound readings, you know, because when I put the video into the editing station and I have to do the audio normalizations, I'll be able to hear the difference from one to the other based on how much post-processing I have to do. I got lucky with this setup, you know, with the microphone and the whole rig. It worked out first try. I had to do very little audio processing with it. It's worked out quite well. All right, well, I have arrived. Get my stuff out of my fancy top box here. Milk crate special, baby. Works like a champ. I keep a net in there in case I've got something big that I need to strap over it, but riding around town, picking up groceries or whatever, these things just can't be beat. I love it. And I just put them on with zip ties. I didn't have any black ones, so I used these ugly old white ones, but just strap them on four corners, and you know, you can pretty much pick up the bike with that, because those are 50-pound, 75-pound zip ties. Pick up the bike with it, no problem. Anyway, I will catch you all later. I'm going to get to work and pay for the holidays. All right, welcome back to my day in progress. It's about 5 o'clock, which sucks because it's, you know, end of the day. Sugar Land going north is going to suck. Traffic down here getting out is not fun in the afternoons. I usually try to get out of this area about 3:45 to 4 if I can, but oh well. Anyway, headed back home. Got a lot done today. I'm going to be back first thing in the morning, so I didn't even bother bringing my laptop with me. I just leave it all here behind locked doors, so I'm not worried about it. It is still windy AF out here, but luckily I don't think it's changed. It's still going north, so I should have a reasonably easy ride home. I'm not going to be fighting the 20-mile-an-hour headwinds that I was fighting this morning. It's a windy. Still no rain in the forecast though. It's just windy. So I'm going to try to answer a bunch of YouTube questions, and I had quite a few questions on Instagram too. I don't normally get a lot of questions on Instagram, but I've been getting some lately, so that's good. I guess that means I'm connecting with people. They're interested in seeing what's going on. So try to sit down tonight and pound out a bunch of replies to YouTube and Instagram comments and requests and things like that. I don't know when I'm going to have time to get back into the video editing. I'd like to get some more of the recent rides edited out, but I don't think that's going to happen until maybe this weekend at the earliest. I've got a pile of stuff to do for this customer and 2 other customers that have been requesting stuff for the last week. This one has been taking up quite a bit of time, so I've got to spread myself out a little bit, try to get some stuff done. I have a bunch of after hours work that I need to do tonight and over the next 2 nights. I have to wait until about 9 p.m. before I can get in and shut servers down and mess with stuff because people are still in until pretty late in the evening. So that's always life of the network admin. Late night, weekends, when nobody else is there, it's the only time we can do it. And the next week is definitely going to be busy, chock full of goodies. I have I got 2 big contracts that are coming up early next week, leading up to the Thanksgiving holiday. We've got some big network changes, big wireless deployment and some other stuff going on, so they can only be done when everybody is gone and out of the building. So we're scheduling up for that. It's going to be infrastructure servers that support the Radius and 802.1x and all that, and then a ton of access points, probably 70 or 80 access points throughout the campus that have got to be replaced, and several switches that support those access points. So putting in a new Ruckus Smart Zone controllers. It'll be interesting. I haven't done that, so it'll be new. I've done the Ruckus, I just haven't done these new Smart Zone controllers. It's all virtualized micro segmentation and virtual controller instances and everything like that. It's kind of a different animal. Anywho, you guys aren't here to hear the boring stuff. You're here for motorcycle content, right? What do I have motorcycle content today? Oh, yeah. Honda just announced this afternoon, I think the video hit like 11 a.m. Central Time. Honda's got their little Navi, N-A-V-I, and I've already called 2 dealers and put deposits down. It's awesome. I can't believe we haven't had something like that here sooner. It's kind of a mashup between the Ruckus and the Grom. It's kind of right in between the two. It's kind of a Grom looking platform, but it's got smaller wheels on it like a scooter, and it's a 110cc air-cooled motor. So it's a weird little hybrid. I think even the Ruckus is a water-cooled motor, still carbureted. This one is 110cc air-cooled carbureted. And down where the engine would be in a normal motorcycle frame, it's just a storage compartment. So it has kind of a motorcycle look to it, but it's a scooter. It's a unit construction swing arm scooter setup. So anyway, apparently this thing has been around in other markets for years. We just haven't had it here in the States, and Honda just decided to bring it to the States. And the best thing about it that I can tell so far is the price. It is stupid cheap. I think it's even cheaper than the Metropolitan. The Metropolitan was like 2,000 and change, 2,200 and something, I don't know. And here's the traffic. Like I said, it's gonna suck. So the price on this little Navi is $1,807 US dollars MSRP, 1,807 smackaroos. So yeah, I'm definitely getting one. I'm gonna play with it, just fart around with it. It won't be quite as powerful, I don't think, as even the Super Cub here, but more powerful than the Ruckus, which costs more. I don't get that, because the Ruckus is just a little 50cc scoot. So anyway, it looks pretty cool. I was kind of hoping that we would get the Zoomer, which is sold in the South American markets. They've got it down in Mexico. And I know some people here in Texas will just go down to Mexico, get it, and they'll register it to you know, a Mexican address, whatever, and ride it here in Texas. And you can get away with that for a few years until, I guess, DOT here, you know, Texas DPS gets wind of it, and I don't know how you insure it. That's another trick. But anyway, the Zoomer 125 is something that I think would be really cool here, because it's like a Grom, a butched up Grom, kind of a mix between a scooter and a Grom, but it's a 125cc water cooled. I don't know if it's fuel injected or not, but it's got upside down front forks on it. It's kind of like the ADV 150, but it's a little 125. Anywho, we don't get that. So this little Navi is going to be interesting. It should be pretty efficient, you know, 110cc. I don't know how fast it's going to be. Probably 50-ish, I would guess, for top speed. I wish it were fuel injected, but they're trying to keep that price point low, and man, 1,800 bucks, that's pretty cheap. So I don't know which color I'm going to get. I didn't specify. I just said I want the first one that you get at both of those dealers, and whichever one gets me first, whatever color it is, that's what I take. The plan for it is I don't know what. I guess I'll go ahead and spill the beans. I'm thinking about buying it, reviewing it, playing with it, and giving it away. Yes, you heard that correctly. Giving it away on the channel. I'll do a giveaway or a raffle or something. I'll figure it out. I've got to look through the YouTube terms of service, because I know that they're very finicky about you know, the rules and giveaways and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll ask Life of Birch how he managed to do his when he gave away his Rebel 500. I'm sure there are some stipulations that I've got to worry about, so I'll keep it legal if I can get to a near zero cost on it through a raffle type of a thing, then that's even better. But I don't know, I might be able to swallow 1,800 bucks for the giveaway if it generates enough traffic to the channel and new subscribers and likes. It'll probably end up washing out about even, so we'll see. I might like it so much that I keep it, though. I don't know. You know, me and little bikes, I don't have anything in that displacement category in the stable. I was looking around for a while to get a NHX 110, which was the Elite 110 scooter, but they're pretty hard to find, and whenever you do find them, they fetch stupid prices. Hey, that's a big one. The last few that I found that had even moderate miles on them, they wanted like 3,000 bucks, 3,500 bucks. Are you nuts? Because those things haven't been in production for 10 plus years. It's crazy paying new price or over new price for a 10-year-old scoot. And my sore throat's starting to come back late in the day. I felt good earlier today, and now it's starting to get scratchy again. Yeah, it's fun to have this thing out on a work commute again. I haven't had this thing out in a while. So the other machine that I put a tentative deposit on said, yes, put me on the list, and when you can finally get it, I think they call their system Lightspeed, is their pre-order system through Honda. I've heard it mentioned a couple times. So they said when they can find it in Lightspeed, they'll go ahead and put me down. They've got my credit card number. And that second machine is going to be, ding, 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 the NT1100. And I have specified that I'm going to go ahead and get the DCT model. I said that I would probably get the manual with the quick shift, but I think I'll go ahead and do a DCT on that one. I told him I want the first available, but if it's DCT, then I want the DCT. So we'll see if and when that one gets on the American order sheets. I know that it's available in Europe now because they've been, there's ride reviews out there from the pre-release and press specials and all that. So I don't know when it's going to hit the American shores. It may not be until next year, so that one I'm not holding my breath on. But at least the little Navi has been announced. It's on the Honda Power Sports site as of today, so that's cool. Yeah, when fuel prices rising the way they are, these little bikes are going to start becoming very much in vogue, I think. Scooters have never really been a hot item here in the United States, but every time that the fuel prices start rising above around $3.50 national average, people start looking at economy of their vehicles and all that, and you get into much more fuel efficient cars, and people start looking at motorcycles and alternate modes of transport instead of their big 5,000 pound SUVs that are just carrying one person. So I don't know, if gas prices continue to rise the way they are, I mean, we're already at like $3.25 here in Houston. We might start seeing a lot more small bikes and scoots on the road. I'm all for it. Less cagers, less waste, and probably less traffic jams. If we could get, you know, let's just say 20% more motorcycles on the road, I think it would make a big difference. It's nice to ride this thing with the original exhaust on it again for two reasons. One, much less noise. It's the most noticeable thing. The second thing is having the mid to top end power back, because the SP Takagawa was really robbing mid-range and top end power. See a damn thing. There's always a fragrant smell rolling through here. It smells like cleaner, or like, I don't know, some kind of industrial deodorizer or something. I cannot figure it out. Always smells that way through here. Weird. Probably a business that makes the stuff somewhere nearby. Man, it is a nice night for a ride. Weather is great. A little windy, but really good out here. Feels fantastic. Okay, well, you all know the routine. Home again, home again. Another work day done, another commute gone. I'm just worn out, man. I don't know what I'm going to do. I've got to get out and recharge my batteries. I need to get out for a road trip, a moto camp, something. I haven't really done anything in months, and it's starting to get on my nerves. It's the busy season, so I've got very little time to get things done these days, but I'm gonna have to take a 3-day weekend or something. Anyway, thanks for tagging along, and I will catch you on the next installment, whatever that might be.